A Hollywood friendship is collapsing in the middle of a $400 million legal war, and now a judge just dropped a bombshell ruling that could expose everything about Blake Lively. Just lost her desperate bid to hide private texts with Taylor Swift in her explosive lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, but here's the twist: Swift's team insists she was never involved, while Baldoni's lawyers claim Lively threatened to leak their messages. If Swift didn't publicly back her, who's lying, and why is this case tearing apart of one of Hollywood's closest friendships? The truth is more shocking than fiction. Hey, I'm Alex, and welcome to Alex and Trend. The legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has erupted into a loud nuclear war, with shockwaves rippling through Hollywood after a federal judge delivered a devastating ruling that could change everything in a decision that sent tremors through the entertainment industry. U.S. District Judge Louis Lyman dealt a crushing blow to Lively's case by denying her desperate attempt to shield her private text messages with Taylor Swift from Baldoni's legal team. The judge's ruling was unequivocal, since Lively herself had repeatedly claimed in court filings that Swift possessed knowledge of complaints and discussions about the working environment on the set of It Ends With Us. Messages are now considered crucial evidence that must be turned over. This wasn't just a minor setback, it was a legal earthquake that exposed the glaring contradictions in Lively's narrative. The judge emphasized that existing protective orders would safeguard the confidentiality of these messages, preventing them from leaking to the press. But the real damage was already done. Lively's credibility was now hanging by a thread. The desperation in Lively's legal strategy became painfully clear. When her attorneys made a last-ditch Hail Mary offer to Baldoni's team, they would hand over every single document related to the case except the text with Swift. In exchange for Baldoni producing unredacted communications and all raw footage from the film, Baldoni's lawyers didn't just reject the offer, they laughed it out of court. Convinced that these messages could be the smoking gun that either validates Lively's explosive harassment claims or, more likely, exposes them as a fabricated smear campaign, legal analysts were stunned by the sheer audacity of Lively's maneuver. How could she simultaneously argue that Swift was a key witness while also fighting tooth and nail to keep their conversations hidden? The implications were chilling. If these texts contained exculpatory evidence that undermined Lively's allegations, it would mean she had been knowingly misleading the court for months, but the plot thickened even further. When Lively's camp launched a scorched earth counterattack, accusing Baldoni of orchestrating a sinister campaign to exploit Taylor Swift's global fame in order to distract from the serious allegations against him, they pointed to a leaked crisis PR document allegedly drafted by Baldoni's team that shockingly referred to Swift as a bully and outlined a calculated strategy to manipulate her fanbase into turning against Lively. The document, which read like something out of a political thriller, reportedly included bullet points on how to influence the TS fanbase and leverage celebrity alliances to sway public opinion. It was a jaw-dropping revelation that painted Baldoni's side as Machiavellian operatives playing 4D chess with celebrity reputations. Yet Baldoni's legal team didn't just deny these allegations, they came out swinging, turning the tables. By accusing Lively of using Swift as a human shield to deflect scrutiny from her own questionable conduct, they argued that Lively had dragged Swift into this mess from the very beginning, first by name-dropping her in legal filings, then by allegedly invoking their friendship to intimidate witnesses, and now by trying to hide their communications. When the heat got too intense, the irony was impossible to ignore. Lively had positioned as a central figure in her case. Swift's representatives had repeatedly and categorically stated that she had zero involvement in the film's production, casting, decisions, or creative process. In fact, Swift's team dropped a bombshell of their own, revealing that she never even set foot on set, never saw an edit of the movie until weeks after its release, and was completely unaware of any behind-the-scenes drama because she was too busy headlining the biggest global tour in music history. So why then was Lively fighting so fiercely to keep these messages under lock and key? What could possibly be in those texts that she was so terrified of the world? And the court-seeing legal experts speculated that the content could range from embarrassing gossip to outright damning admissions. Perhaps Lively had exaggerated Swift's involvement to bolster her case, only to realize too late that the truth would unravel her entire narrative. Or maybe the texts revealed that Swift had actually advised her against pursuing legal action, undermining Lively's claims of distress. There was even the possibility that the messages contained proof of Lively badmouthing Baldoni to Swift, which, if true, could be twisted to support his claims of defamation. The stakes skyrocketed even higher when Baldoni's $400 million countersuit, which accused Lively and Ryan Reynolds of extortion and defamation, was dismissed by the same judge alongside his separate defamation case against the New York Times. But while those legal avenues were closed, the core of the case, Lively's sexual harassment and retaliation claims, was still barreling toward a March 2026 trial date. And now, with the Swift texts officially in play, the dynamics of the case had shifted dramatically. Meanwhile, Baldoni's legal team was going in for the kill, demanding unredacted communications, raw behind-the-scenes footage, and even notes from studio executives, anything that could prove Lively's allegations were manufactured by Lively. Camp, meanwhile, insisted they were the ones who had been transparent, claiming they'd already produced more documents than Baldoni's side, but the optics were terrible. Every time Lively resisted turning over evidence, it made her look like she had something to hide. As the case hurtles toward trial, one question looms larger than all others. What do Taylor Swift's texts really say? Are they just harmless girl talk? Or do they contain the evidence that will finally expose the truth? Because in this battle of fame, power, and betrayal, there's only one thing we know for sure. When those messages finally see the light of day, someone's career is going up in flames. The legal drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has escalated to DEF-CON 1 level of Hollywood warfare, with new revelations emerging that paint a picture of behind-the-scenes manipulation, celebrity power plays, and a friendship torn apart at the seams. At the heart of the firestorm, Swift's repeated assertions of having zero involvement in the film's production. However, Swift's representatives responded with what can only be described as a thermonuclear denial, producing irrefutable evidence that the pop megastar was in fact touring internationally during the entire production window, performing to sold-out stadium crowds across 3 continents. Just when it seemed the case couldn't get more dramatic, Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, dropped what might be the most scandalous allegation yet, a claim so explosive it threatened to permanently alter the landscape of Hollywood legal battles. In a letter that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry, Friedman alleged that an anonymous but highly credible source had informed him Lively's lead attorney, Michael Gottlieb, had threatened to release Swift's private text messages unless the global superstar publicly endorsed Lively's version of events. The implications were staggering. If the tests contain even a single inconsistency with Lively's sworn testimony, if they show she exaggerated Swift's involvement, downplayed her own role in the creative process, or worse, conspired to manipulate the narrative, her credibility in front of a jury could be obliterated in seconds. Imagine the scene: Baldoni's attorneys, armed with damning messages, edited raw footage from the film's production, unredacted emails between Lively and studio executives, and even behind-the-scenes notes that could reveal whether Lively ever expressed dissatisfaction with Baldoni's behavior before filing her lawsuit. Their strategy is clear: flood